Hey guys, and welcome back to the Alchemical Oracle. This is Lo, and today we're going to be doing a trans channel from Archangel Michael. Yay! I often do like relay channeling with Michael where he just kind of stands in this particular energy space and just kind of talks to me, and then I'm able to just relay. But today we're going to be in the vessel and ish. So today we're talking about protection, and we're going to kind of go into our own knowing, the development of how we manifest certain realities and how to not manifest them. Okay, let's begin. Take a deep breath and exhale. I am Michael. I always have a giggle when the spirits are trans-channeled by Lauren and they explain their experience in the body. And now I'm having this experience. And it is different. But let us begin. Today we are talking about protection. And with that protection, we want to talk about what the nature of spiritual protection is. At this time, I'm going to use an example. Examples are good. They help you visualize larger concepts. For example, there is a pill. The pill is inside of this container. No matter how much I shake, the pill stays in this container. What I want you to understand is when you are asking for protection, you are asking for a container. This container is good sometimes, but is around you all the time. What needs to be understood is like this container is hard. When it comes to a spiritual understanding of flexibility, as you can see, this has flexibility. I can squeeze it and manipulate it. Yes. And if I crush too hard, I can break it. What I want you to understand is that your protection, the way that you think about it in your mind, is too rigid and inflexible. For this reason, many of you have protection that is buoyant. And because of your own conscious boundaries, you have protection that has not enacted its full protocol. I will give you the example of having an alarm system that has yet to be turned on. It is there, but it is not on. And for good reason, it is not on. If you know you are moving in and out of it, there's no reason to have it up, so on and so forth. But when it is time to turn it on, you're on alert. When you are on alert, what does the alarm system do? when you are not looking, it covers you, it protects you. For if there is something unfortunate to happen and the alarm goes off, then the police are called. The fire station is called. Does this make sense to you? What we want you to understand is many of you have an alarm system that is not turned on ever. You have no trigger points for that turned on. Therefore, your protection lays at rest. It is there, but it is not on. When we think of people who have heavy protection, we are talking about people who pour energy into the right type of protection. Now, there are different frequencies of protection, and we will go a little bit deeper there. But your protective shield, the thing that you think of as protection, that shield is densely formed energy that surrounds the edges of your aura. It protects your aura from penetration of negative energy. Think about this like a water filter. Those that come into your auric space are made to leave certain negative energies outside of you. And when they exit, they reacquire them because they are theirs and not yours. For those of you who are empathic, the opposite would be when you come in, someone comes into your auric field and they leave their residue in your field and they go. They feel better, but you have vampirized their energy and now identifying as if it is your own. And then it can create all sorts of random emotions and chaos within you because it is not the energy that is most suitable for your being. Yes. Now, there are higher ways to understand how to transmute energy that others are looking to release, but this is not that conversation. The conversation that we are having now is about the idea that you are unprotected. The conversation that we are having now is about the idea that you need a being outside of yourself to protect you, like me or any other spirit. Does it mean that they will not protect you? No. If you have formed a relationship with any being, they will not take nonsense from any being that wishes harm upon you. But it is important to understand that those of you who have yet to form those relationships can and still may do so, need to understand that you are not powerless. This understanding needs to come before acquiring additional energy, because that is what it is, additional energy. The additional energy at which you are now being prepared to understand how to acquire is that which, let's say for example, Lauren has a lot of energy. She has a lot of energy. Her aura is very big, okay? So, for Lauren to shield in her preferred way around this aura, it takes a lot of energy. Now, from her own being, although she is doing lots of other things with that energy. So, she lays a general protective shield that is specific to her own practice, and then overlays it with multiple different protective agents from spirits like myself and others. Now, what does that do for her? That allows her to then use the dense amount of energy that would have gone into protection or the creation of that shield, the watchful eye that is guarding that shield, to go elsewhere, to do more things, to not be micromanaging the things that we could take care of for her. Now, the understanding of said thing is what we must understand. You need to see for yourself that it is an illusion to not have enough. It is an illusion to not have protection. The only thing that you are protecting yourself from is your own negative manifestations. But we need to speak about these negative manifestations because some of them are things that you cannot avoid. And therefore, we don't want to continue to experience them until the full eradication of the cycle is completed. For example, if you are someone who believes that you are so different than other people, and that might be rightly so, that other people tend to be jealous of the light that you bring into a room, then you will experience its counterpart, which is jealousy. Not only that, but you will experience the outward projection of those people feeling inferior to you. Not because you think you are better than them, but because the sheer amount of energy, the sheer shine and projection of who you are is too much for individuals who are less bright or even darker than you. But I don't want to say darker. I want to say dark. Like their energy is not bright. It emanates darkness. Does this make sense to you? So when we are saying there are energies or people that are shining at a specific frequency, and when you come into a room, you are outshining them, or you are casting great shadows within them, and it is painful for them to experience. You will experience the effects of their shadow, their negative intent for you, their distaste for you, their shade, as Lauren would call it, for you. And because of said things, you may experience that energy coming directly to you and creating negative apologies. Lauren is reminding me to breathe. So, with these please, we are settling. She is reminding me of my own reminders to her to breathe. And it is quite funny in the reverse now. As we were saying, as these situations lock together, you are experiencing a negative outcome as it is hitting your energetic field and ricocheting around you to affect something in order to be expressed. But when you are shielded, or your alarm system is running, yes, when an alarm system is properly installed, it will keep a contingency, a awareness of all that is going on between what is coming out, what is coming in, what portals are open and what portals are closed, and what portals are not to be opened at all. When the alarm system is on, it is plugged in, it is energized. Regardless if you are on high alert, the energy is now observing and making its own understanding aware and continued awareness of the conscious mind. The conscious mind is then notified of all and any awkward interactions. You will find that when you are around certain people, your alarm system will go off, ding, ding, ding. And you will say, for example, you are around a person, you have a great time being around them, and then as soon as they leave, you feel sticky. You feel dry. Your energy feels lackluster. This is you feeling the effect of being around said person. Another example is if you are around a friend and this friend tends to be decent, but all of a sudden you start to feel wary of that friend. You're not quite sure about being able to trust said friend with certain types of information. This type of interflection or understanding is there to show you what is happening in the unseen. What that means is what you consciously do not perceive, this person is sending energy to you. And that energy may be negative. And because you are having a negative perception, it is likely that that person has or is saying, doing, or thinking on a negative perception of you. That does not make them a bad person, but it is an alert from your security. Now, at a certain point, you will start to feel a little more wary, a feeling of distrust. There are certain times where you will have that feeling, it will go away, and there will be no problems. Maybe because your friend is jealous of a specific season that you are in, and they deal with it on their own, and it is no longer a problem. Sometimes, if it is ongoing, it will get more and more and more intense. At this time, we want to bring to your attention that when your alarm system is properly installed, on, and energized, you will intuitively receive alerts. As you are receiving these alerts, it will allow you to judge and understand the inklings that are being given, the indicators, the sensors that are what they are currently perceiving. Now, there's certain types of movements that are unusual, and as the person who holds the alarm, you can activate your alarm system if something is going on outside of you, or you can activate silent alarm if something is going on inside of you. Silent alarm is so that the person who is doing things sneakily, sending energy, etc., it will not know that you have seen them. And it allows you to move very differently. Now, let us bring back the knowing. You must know that you are protected. You must understand that no matter if you do not have any type of relationship with any type of spirit, that you are already protected, because you will decide to install and initiate your alarm. You will connect it, you will power it, you will set it up, and your boundaries are your sensors. Yes? And when your sensors are set up in such a specific way, it allows you to then move differently. It allows you to then be notified on how to move. Hey fam, so Lauren from the future, I recorded the rest of this channeling and essentially it didn't record. At some point the camera stopped recording, and unfortunately, well, none of that was present during the editing process, so you're seeing me later. Hi. So we are just going to try and attempt to tap back into that channel and finish off our message. I initially was gonna re-record the entire thing, but Michael was like, that would be a waste. So we are just going to tap back in, okay? So I'm gonna get centered and we'll get right back into it. We are again here with this sensation. As we were, before we were interrupted or disconnected, we want you to understand that when you are feeling the energy of a negative experience, and it is becoming deeper and deeper into the spaces of mistrust, of negativity, of, I'm looking for the word in Lauren's mind, the suspicious is the word that comes. We are talking about the suspicious, intuitive ability to be able to move from one consciousness to another. When your alarm reaches a high alert, what you are being told is that that who is a suspect is now acting in suspicion to its suspected actions. And at this point, the body begins to feel the information that the spirit is now relaying to you. And at this time, when you are on a higher alert than your sensory, we talked about how certain parts of the alarm simply let you know when there is movement in the house, etc. But when something suspicious happens, for example, when a door opens and closes that is supposed to be locked and not open at this time, the alarm sensor says this door should not be open. The alarm is now on. A suspicious activity is now happening. Does this make sense to you? And so you have all of these feelings, and this is a point where logically often you are not able to take that suspicion and connect it to a physical receipt, as Lauren would call it, something where you know that that person is operating and doing these things, which is creating this sense of suspicion within yourself. At this time, you are only alerted that suspicious activity is happening with a particular area of your life or a particular person. For example, when you are feeling on high alert and you have, for example, a friend. Sorry guys, Lauren is telling me I need to calm down with the loudness here. But we have a friend, and this friend is the one that you communicate with often. Although you have 3 other friends that you interact with, so there are 4 friends. 3 of these friends know each other and act very similarly, while the 4th friend is a friend who is separate from this 4, you included, friend group. This 5th person is off to the side. This is a friend that is not connected here. So when you are interacting with this friend, you feel no suspicion. But when you interact with these 3 friends, you have the same intensity of suspicion. You have the same intensity of, they may not have good will for me. Does this make sense to you? And the more that you interact with certain friends, you are able intuitively to dial in to see, these are now my suspects. I feel something, I don't know quite what it is. And as the alert goes up, the suspicion around others either goes up as well or goes down. You may find that one person in the connection is not a suspect, but you may find that one person is a suspect and acts suspiciously, but is not doing suspicious behavior. They are only the secret holder of the suspicious behavior, where there is one. That one has suspicion. They send negative energy. They say negative things. They create negative momentum that hits you in odd places, that creates lots and lots of distraction. And only when you are inside of this friend group and information from your mouth is circulating, that things obscured are created. Let me bring it back here, and we will speak about it in a different way. So if, let's say for example, you have one friend, and this one friend is a good friend, but you don't know them very well. They are only associated with friend A. Let's call this first friend friend C. You don't know them very well. You are an acquaintance. You are mutual friends. The friend B here, you've known them for about as long as you've known friend A, and you have entered this group together. Friend C is the secret holder, but because you don't interact with friend C, you have no reason to suspect them. Friend A is having some normal behavior, but the energy when they are around is very different than it was before. Friend B was a friend that you initially thought was not a suspect, but the more and more that you are around friend B, the more and more you feel like there is something that they're not telling you. Okay, so now that you have a friend B and friend A are your primary suspects, and friend A is being very suspicious. If you have friend A, this friend A is moving from one place and they are speaking to friend B. Friend A and friend C discuss amongst themselves, but they are just pitter-patting. When friend A speaks to friend B, they have a mutual dislike about you. So it grows here. Yes, it grows here. Friend B may say personal information that you have told friend B in quiet quarters and private quarters. Friend A will take what has been said in private quarters between the three of you, friend A through C, and combine that into a projected attack at wherever your vulnerabilities are. Now, does this mean that friend A, B, or C are doing this maliciously? No, but oftentimes there is at least one person in the group of people who have things to say and wish to gossip that do have negative intent. And what they do is they use the fuel of everyone who is in this situation to absorb and then project all of it at you, infused with their negative intent. Is this a curse? Well, that's what you may call it if you are a witch, but we like to call it negative projection because it is more accurate in its functioning and does not always require spell work as indicated. Most spell work in itself is just a psychic manipulation of energy, which is also what is being done in those moments. And so what we are speaking of is the psychic manipulation of a large form of energy that then comes in contact with your energetic field or your energetic shielding presence. Therefore, that movement around you, your shield and your protective presences, whether that is ancestors, entities, angels, deities, or the like, as well as your shielding, warding, etc. Those are the outsides of you who are seeing that the energy is moving toward you. Now, at this time, the ancestors may move into God and they will tell you how to maneuver through certain energies or around or avoid or maneuver these energies. And in other times, they will instruct on cleansing, bathing, certain ways and certain movements in order to keep your energy clean, lest you get infected. Okay? There are the angels that are around you who will point out certain things about the suspected suspects of these entities and energies for you to then become aware of this understanding. And then there is the energy itself. When we are talking about energy, the thing is that if you have a friend, this friend, their energy, they're themselves, you have no or a low level of protection from certain people, and because these people are considered safe, you do not have certain shielding against them, and therefore their energy can come in and affect accepted areas of acceptableness. So give you an example here. So if you have a friend and this friend is jealous of you being in a relationship, but you and this person have been in a relationship for a very long time, and even though you may only dedicate into them a certain part of yourself that is open to their awareness and accessible, then when they send negative energy to you, all of the places in which you are open and vulnerable with that person are now susceptible to the negative energy or psychic attack. So what we want you to understand is that while protection is unnecessary, it is also understand that energy is And so when intent is applied to energy, it is. But when you understand how to manipulate energy, when you understand transformation of energy, what you understand is now it is a time to open your mouth and eat. I believe we have lost some people. Lauren said, ooh. When it is time to open your mouth and eat, what that means is when negative energy comes in, you must be prepared to eat that energy and to transform it into something else. Now, for some people, they say, oh, I do not want to feel negative. Well, you will feel negative either way. When you have interactions with certain types of people, they will bring you into certain lessons and healing, etc., etc., etc. You will be doing the same exact thing with people that you perceive as your enemy. These people are here to show you where you have certain vulnerabilities, but what they are also here to show you is where you are moving in an unhealthy fashion that is creating a blind spot, or sometimes even a curse or a generational thinking pattern, energy pattern that is within you that must be eradicated in order to prevent these types of situations to continue to happen. And these people are just pinnacle points in a plan or a lesson where you learn how to operate in a different frequency when it comes to certain people. For those of you who have anxious attachment style, you will acquire people who will require that you set boundaries with them or you eradicate their existence from your life, and either or, because those that have people-pleasing tendencies, anxious attachment, they are really wanting attention, they are wanting something, and therefore they are pleading for love. So therefore they are putting out the energy of lack of love. And when they are putting out the energy of lack of love, therefore they are not able to receive the abundance of love, to receive the respect of love, to receive the type of love that will respect their boundaries, respect their energy, respect who they are, respect their time, respect blah, 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 blah. Does that make sense? And so then you come into a sensible notion where people will then see you in a certain spherical shape, and these people will see that certain parts of this spherical shape are open because you have certain areas that have been underdeveloped on purpose, either on purpose by an abuser that was in your fundamental development years, or undeveloped because your family has a wounding, has a particular thing that needs to be solved, a problem that needs solving. And each person born into this line must learn how to solve this problem. But often, more than not, people decide not to fix the problem. They decide to become the problem, and therefore the problem is not fixed and handed to the next person who enters, and they must take on the lesson until it is solved. So if you are here and you are listening and this is resonating with you, that means that you yourself are here to understand that this is your lesson. This lesson ends with you. This problem ends with you, and it is eradicated from you this moment, because now you will be able to identify it this time forward. It will slap you in the face, okay? And if you need help processing and understanding the intricacies of these things, you call upon me, Archangel Michael, and I will present it to you, but slap you in the face, you know. Ah, that is such a good saying that Lauren has. So let us continue. What is very important here is that you are continuing with this understanding and this elevation and this movement throughout the fullness of your energetic continuum, so that this information is radiating through you in a certain way, so that you're able to not only elevate the way that you are thinking and perceiving your reality, but also understanding that everyone around you is a character in a story that is outlaying lessons upon lessons upon lessons that you are here to learn to elevate your spirit and your soul. And sometimes that means pain, and sometimes that means terrible things happen. But when you are in tune with your intuition, when you are open to hearing us in the spiritual realm, or perceiving our guidance through your intuition, you are able to avoid mishaps that are avoidable. Are you hearing me? You are able to maneuver through the energetic realms and manipulate the energy that is corresponding around you. Some people think that angels are very high in vibration and will not do what is necessary to create a given outcome. We angels do not understand this, because all beings that are of a certain vibration move in certain geometric understandings. And as you are able to move in these certain understandings, certain human logic does not make sense, because it creates blockages. Where you are supposed to move in right angles, you move in curve, which is a mistake. You move either in curve only or in angle only. And there are certain times where you interchange the curve and angle depending on the type of individual that you are working with. So if you are a high-level individual and you come against a suspicious person who is doing suspicious activity, and they are a person that moves in right angles, in order to maneuver a person who moves in right angles, you must move in curves. And if you have a suspicious person who is moving in a curved manner, then in order to outmaneuver them, you must move in right angles. Does this make sense to you? Because the understanding is that the way that people work in energy, the way that people maneuver their energy, the way that people send energy has a specific vibration. It moves in a specific geometric form. And if that form is lower than the vibration of the form that you hold, it does not hit. It does not matter. It always misses. And it misses every time. But if you have, for example, if you have an energy that is moving like this, it is moving, then it moves, then it moves, then it moves, then in order to outmaneuver that energy, you will have to move like this. It is because you can, if you are moving like this in a stagnant way, you will eventually synergize, okay? And then you are a mess, because now you have synergized with the energy that you are trying to escape. And so this is the type of understanding that you need to hold in order to understand how to move more directly and more evasively. Now, for certain people, when, let's say, for example, you are working with a darker practitioner, not a dark practitioner of the light, but just in the dark, ignorant style practitioner. And we use this word not to mean lower, lesser, or more difficult, but sometimes it is. We are talking about a certain type of consciousness, a consciousness that has yet to open themselves to a certain area of the creator, and therefore feel that they are alone in this energy and that they must only in their own power. It becomes an inflated ego understanding. Now, some of these people are also connected to the bright light, and we are not talking about these people. We are only talking about the people who are not connected to the bright light of darkness or of brightness. So we move this over here, and now let's talk about the people who are moving in the chaos. We believe that Lauren has spoken about this many times, but when someone is moving in the chaos, they have no connection to the organized chaos, and therefore they move differently. These people typically will put you inside of a box and they will say, this person moves in squares, this person moves in 45-degree angles, this person moves in circles, semicircles, sine waves, etc. They are boxing in what dimension of smoothness or right angleness that you move. The reason for this is because those are the angles in which they can manipulate. So if you are working within a certain energy and you feel that someone is moving with you, sometimes humans call these narcissists, sometimes we call them no, not the right word. We were going to say sociopath, but that is incorrect. We are looking for another word now. Lauren's mind is very we are organizing still. But we will say this: when we are working with a more maleficent energy, or a more nefarious energy inside of a person, they have to dial you in to a certain area of the chaos that is knowable. Because they have no organized chaos, therefore they cannot manipulate the organization. They can only manipulate chaos in its raw form. Therefore, they must limit you into a chaotic form that is easy for them to perceive and receive. Then, when you are locked into that form, now they can tighten on you. Now they can create and manipulate the energy from within this varied frequency. And once they have you locked into a frequency, then they can manipulate that frequency at will and appreciate the squirm that you are giving. Now, during this time, this person will maybe have different reasons for either feeling powerful or giving or receiving the energy that you are now releasing, feeling that you have no power in a situation or whatever. During this time, it is critical for you to understand that you are not stuck in this frequency. If you ever find yourself in a place where you are boxed into a frequency, it is a chain on the mind. Because the mind holds different thoughts, frequencies, and someone has laid multiple layers of these thought frequencies to become actions. And because you never looked at them as a suspicious character, their movements as being suspicious actions, you never thought to guard yourself from these things, and therefore you have become what Lauren would call victimized by insertion of arc damage in the frequency department. It requires deep cleansing of the vessel. It requires deep understanding of the truth of the matter and the free of the matter and the understanding of where your mind is, so that you can be extracted out of that frequency and placed back into your original pathway. And therefore, knowing and understanding how to path work, knowing and understanding how to manipulate your own energies in your own reality and etc., will allow you to start to maneuver without maneuvering. Let's speak on it. When you are stuck inside of a very small box, many of you who are watching, you are watching because you have either been in this box before or you are currently suffering from this box. And this box is important to understand, is that if you want to exit the box, oh, I love this feeling in Lauren when we are talking about certain things. When you are ready to step outside of the box, you need to understand that your will and your mind and your emotions and the way that you participate in the reality that you are stuck in is maneuvering the realities that are outside of it. And what it does is it starts to orchestrate a way, a preparation to step you back into your known path. What does that mean? That means that each decision you make, your thoughts, your feelings, the way you rise in the morning, and instead of complaining about something, you get up and do the opposite. For example, for the last few weeks, Lauren wakes up and feels groggy, tired, and blah. And for a few weeks, she laid back down and said, I go back to sleep, I feel like shit. So she feel like shit for the rest of the day. But one day, she woke up, she said, I will take a shower. She put her clothes on, she felt good, she sent her daughter off to school, she did her thing, she brushed her teeth, she meditated, she played with the drum, she cleared her energy, she did her ritual in the morning. And it set her apart from the timeline that she had been participating in. And it helps her to differentiate herself from one reality from the next. When you are trying to move from one reality to the next, whether someone has boxed you in or not, the first thing you must do is take hold of your mind. Once you have taken hold of your mind, i.e., you are not feeding the thoughts that don't feed you. You are eradicating the thoughts that bind. And then you are allowing yourself to unravel. You are allowing yourself to unfold. You are seeing the things in your environment that are just happenstance, and you say, all will be worked out within the given time as spirit is maneuvering in my favor. And you start to just relax and you flow and you stop resisting inside of the frequency. For the frequency is only able to contain you because you are resisting, because the force that you push out is the force that is applied in. But once you stop applying force, there is no power in that frequency. There is no power in that reality. And therefore, you are able to step your way out of this given reality and elevate yourself into the next. And as that person or place or thing is wisping at your feet, trying to pull you back down into the reality that they can control and manipulate you, you are far from gone. The entities that have been with you all along are now pervading through this process because you have already experienced the lesson because you were there, and now you have left and there is no more. You become the version of the self that is back on the path and you walk it. The question is, are you able to identify the opportunities? Let's speak about these. The opportunities to exit a given paradigm have to do with daily choices, not extravagant big choices. Because daily choices define the overall frequency at which you live. If you wake up in the morning and you complain and you doom scroll and you do nothing to help your energy elevate first thing in the morning, then what you are doing is you are programming your vessel to radiate at whatever frequency that you are perceiving, and that can vary. And based on that varying energy radiation, you are receiving all kinds of random experiences throughout your day. And at any time during this day, you can reprogram your energy, but often what do? We do not. And then therefore it continues to ripple effect until you go to sleep at night. It resets and then it happens again the next day. So you must change the decisions that you make. For some of you, the change has to be with food. For some of you, the change has to be with the way that you approach your children or your partner, or the way that you speak to yourself, or the way that you sacrifice unnecessarily. You sacrifice to do this for someone but not take care of yourself. You miss out on this because you're not for yourself, because you're doing something for someone else. Set the boundaries, create the space for yourself, and then do what you need to do. For example, Lauren has been doing a lot of things for herself, but therefore certain parts of her self-care have also taken a back seat because they are not as important as what's happening internally. Therefore, the internal has taken priority while the external has taken a maintenance mode. You will see certain people who will rise and fall in their outward appearance as they are instructing and deflecting inside to understand, manipulate, correct, and shift what is happening internally, so that externally they can then unfold and emanate in the right way going forward. We call this shadow work. We call this internal reflection. We call this when we are perceiving ourselves and then we are externalizing the perception of self. But if you are outside and you do not like what you see, then there is something that is corrupted inside that must be seen. The thing that becomes corrupted is because it is being ignored. And sometimes what about you is being ignored is being exacerbated by that which sees it in a negative intent. Let me ask you a question. When a child feels ignored by their parents, when they feel like they don't matter, and then someone comes in who can manipulate that child, who loves and gives attention and affection and love, and then convinces that child to do something that is against their best interest, will the child do those things? Or because they are so starved for love, will they go with that person, do what that person says, because they are so starved for love, they couldn't imagine losing the one thing that is giving them love? There are parts of you that are unloved, that are unseen, that are unrecognized. And when people who have negative intent for you are sending negative energy at you, what they are doing is they're poking the wound, they're poking the bear. And a part of you is saying, why would they give me energy even if it is negative? And you won't even look my way. These understandings and perceptions are ways that you can move, manipulate, understand, and open your awareness in order to perceive more of yourself, to be seen, to be loved, and to be moved in your highest and best path. But it is not easy. It is not pain-free. And you must get over it. Earth is not a place that is rainbows and sunshine, love and light. It is negative. It is vile. It is love. It is fierce. It is ugly. It is beautiful. It is magnificent. It is a divine creation, and it is your creation. Remember, all are co-creating. If you don't like the co-creation, the only thing that you can do is change your own perception and understand how to manipulate the energy and the frequency at which you vibrate And that in itself will change the reality at which you are experiencing. And if enough people do that for themselves and radiate that higher energy frequency, that higher elevation, that higher understanding of self, it is infectious to everyone else, because they are not avoiding what they see in the mirror. They are not avoiding what the mother said to them when they were 5. They are not avoiding the man who bounced them on the knee. They are not avoiding the pain that lurks inside. They are saying, it hurt. They are turning around and they are saying, I love you, myself. I will hold you. I will forgive for you. I will protect you now. I will take the reins in the areas which you are afraid, the areas which you have protected me. I am better now, and I can and will do what needs to be done. And I have better tools than I had before. And if I don't, please show me the way to learn them so that we can be better for it. And these are the things that will show you out. But these are also your protective mechanisms. And when you go against your own protective mechanisms, your own intuitive nudges, your own understanding, you are creating the negative experience that you don't want. And therefore, many of you call upon entities like me for protection from your own doing, your own vibrating, and others' projections of their own doing, of the manipulation of their own reality, because they won't do the same thing that is being asked of you now. Do you see how like equals like? One is the projector and one is the perceiver. But as one perceives, one also projects. When you are a victim of any kind, you are projecting oppressor at the person who oppresses you. The person who oppresses you is projecting victim because they were victimized, and therefore they do not want to be a victim. So they became the monster that hurted them. You are two sides of the same coin. And therefore, if you wish to no longer experience such a thing, you must then experience it within yourself. Love it within yourself and know what you will and won't deal with, where you will and won't go, and trust what's happening inside while loving all versions of you, of the past, present, future, and varying timelines that you've experienced. For all of you have wounds, all of you need love, and all of you want to be accepted in your truest, best form and light. So won't you do it? I believe you will. Open yourself to the love and the abundance that you give, and be free, open and honest with who you are and who you are calling yourself to be. This has been Archangel Michael. In all gratitude, I hope that you have received me. I hope that I have emanated to you the many ideas, frequencies, and ever-pervading thought forms that we have for you. May you rise like the morning sun and fall like the setting sun. May your darkness rise like the moon and set at sunrise. Be well. Alright guys, I hope that you have enjoyed this channeling. Oh my god, my head is like super fuzzy. But I hope that you guys have enjoyed this, and hopefully this is giving you a good idea of the energy and entity that Archangel Michael is, and hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. If you have, please like, share, and subscribe. And down in the comments, tell me about your experiences. Did you have any revelations? And I know you had some notes, so what you wrote down, because I think there's a couple people that's gonna read these comments that also need to hear what you heard. All right, because we all have different perceptions and different levels of understanding. So definitely share yours, because it does matter. Okay, this has been a really enlivening and enlightening conversation with Archangel Michael. I hope that this will encourage you to speak more to Archangel Michael and to develop your own relationship with him. And I will see you guys in the next one. May you be alive, may you thrive, may you continue to level up to your highest timeline, whether that means that you come against something abrasive or not. That you are able to prevail, that you are able to understand how to manipulate and move your energy in the best and right way. Because on this channel, we talk about moving between and in and out of the different areas and emanations of the divine and its creative energy, and not just into one part of its internal severity or purity. May you continue to rise, continue to shine, and continue to be you. I love you. Bye.